Well, the Hello Jellos of all sorts of colors, textures, and flavors.
Just kidding, guys. You know exactly what we mean.
This is Louisa
And Stassi tuning in with
Talk Tiles.
where we're all just trying to interact.
Well, not necessarily interact, but you again know what we mean.
We're just all trying to have a good time.
Yep. So, Stassi, what's your mood of the day?
I mean, it's going great, actually. Feeling very energetic on this fine, sunny yet windy day. It started out good.
Oh, nice. Well, my mood is a little all over the place today. I'm feeling a tiny bit moody, but that's okay, right? I mean, everything passes.
Of course, we all have those days.
Yeah, well, speaking about mood, there's this song that just sets the perfect mood for me when I'm cruising or, driving home from work, school. And today's song of the day is...
Electric by Alina Baraz featuring Khaled.
Oh, yeah, I love that song. It's amazing. It always sets me in the mood, sometimes a romantic mood even. You guys should definitely check it out.
That's funny. But, I think we should start off telling, our listeners a little bit about ourselves.
All right, well, you want to start?
All right. You got any questions for me?
You want me to ask you questions? Okay. So, when people ask you to ask a question and then you completely have no more questions, but when someone's not asking you a question, you have the world's amount of questions in your head?
All right, I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. So I'm Stassi, currently a college student in my second year. I'm a college sophomore. My major is political science / criminology.
Awesome topics. Mm-hmm.
What?
Awesome topics.
Awesome topic, yeah. So, my end goal is to join the FBI one day, and if not, become a lawyer, which is a little bit more, realistic.
No, don't say that. I think you definitely cut out, and you're an interesting human being. I think you could probably get into the FBI.
I mean, I do have a badge.
Yeah, we did. We can't really talk about that.
No, right, yeah, it's a shift of topics. But yes, I'm all about, getting the bad guys out of the world, saving people, especially our youth. I feel like our youth is being
yeah, definitely
attacked these days. But yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. I'm currently, 19, going on 20. In a few months, so that's a little bit exciting.
That's very exciting, actually.
Yeah, it is. I mean, almost there. So why don't you tell us a little bit of yourself?
Okay, my name is Louisa, as I told you guys before, and I'm 22 years old. I'm a Cancer, for anyone who likes the zodiac signs. And I am in nursing school, gonna finish May. I'm happily engaged, getting married next year, which is awesome. I can't wait. And I have a lot on my plate. That's all I could say. I'm just confused, but that's basically me.
But you forgot to mention a few things.
Like?
Oh, you always forget, man. Music.
Oh, okay. Music is another part of my life. And so is production. I am into music a lot. I'm a songwriter, singer. I have some stuff on YouTube. I do work with people. I sell songs overseas. I sell songs here, but it's kind of my side gig, and I'm not that into it, but I do love it, and it's my number one passion before anything else comes.
Yes.
And yeah, that's basically it with the things I've missed, Stassi. But I want to get back to a topic that you mentioned while you were describing yourself, the FBI. You mentioned bad guys, and I'm really interested to know what bad guys you're talking about, because I saw how much passion you have for those, getting those bad guys.
So essentially, bad guys are people who do harm to others, negatively impact someone's life.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
there are subcategories of bad guys, and I think the one I choose to focus on are the ones who sexually abuse others. Can be women, can be men. Doesn't really matter. From a woman's perspective, who is straight, obviously men. Mm-hmm. And that. There are, older guys who are not minors who attack the youth in this way, and I find that very wrong. And because it's over the internet, it's more easier for them to hide behind the mask. Yeah. That way, we can't get them into incarceration. You know what I'm saying? So my focus is to focus, on these people and get them into jail.
I wonder how, we didn't look at the statistics on this, but I wonder how many cases of that type of crime has ended with the bad guy ending up in prison.
Yeah, actually, I don't think much would, because again, since they are attacking the youth, the youth, they're vulnerable. So they're not thinking, oh, I'm talking to a guy who wants to abuse me or is sexually abusing me. They're thinking they're talking to a guy who likes them and finds them interesting. So these are basically like dark crimes. They never go and they don't get reported.
Yeah, unless the victim himself wants to report it, and that's usually not the case because they're afraid of the consequences of why they were in the situation to begin with.
Exactly. And,
that's very understandable.
A lot of people say, oh, well, parents can play a role. But I think the youth is even scared to let parents know because they know they're doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. So essentially telling your parent, you're going to get in trouble. So might as well shift away from that idea as well.
Yeah, I understand. And this is a very, again, emotional topic to talk about. And everyone has their own rights to their own opinion.
Yeah, today's podcast is mainly focused on social media. But before we continue with that topic, our podcast, we do feature news of the day. We touch upon news. And today, I think the news of today is the iPhone 11. What do you think about that, Luisa? You can get it?
Well, I've honestly been obsessed with looking at the iPhone 11 because it looks so cool and it's starting to look like Samsung. I'm sorry, iPhones and Apple, but I have been just avoiding getting a new phone for a while now. I still have the iPhone 7 and I think I'm due for one, but it's so expensive. Although I have to say the iPhone X was more expensive. Apple is being more lenient with their products price.
Yeah.
So that's good for anyone who's looking into getting the iPhone 11. And the differences between the iPhones, I know that it's more durable. The camera is amazing. And I know they're giving the option of getting iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro. So if you were to ask me which one should you get, I would say it depends on what kind of a user you are, because the iPhone 11 Pro is probably more for people who are involved in pro activities.
Right.
So, you guys should definitely check out iPhone 11 and get your hands on it if you're interested.
Of course, yep. But anyway, back to social media. What do you think? Who should have it? What age should they have it? Pros and cons. I think that we should touch upon those.
That's difficult to talk about because I have a different opinion on it only because I didn't use it when I was in my 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age. Mm-hmm. So social media had a more impact on my life after the age of 15, 16. And I don't think that's the case now. But I don't know when someone should have social media or even if social media should be that big of a platform.
See, for me, I had social media right when it came off, especially Instagram. I'm talking about Facebook because Facebook came out a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's still the number one right now.
Yeah, definitely number one. But for example, Instagram was the app of my time, and it came out when I was about 12, and I instantly got it. I don't know how, but I just got it. And I don't think people at that age should have social media because you still don't know what you want to do with your life. You don't even know who you are. And social media is such a crucial thing to have. If you just slip a little bit, you might mess up your whole life. So I think people should have social media when they're wise enough to know what they want to do with their life and they don't abuse it, basically.
Yeah. If you don't have an idea of what kind of individual you are, social media can definitely mold you, and it can mold you in good and bad ways.
Right.
But if you look at it, social media is one of the best things that's ever happened to many people. It's such an amazing market opportunity and such a good way for people to network. And it's booming for people. YouTube, podcasts, everything.
Right, of course.
It's booming. And but while it's booming, as you said, there's also the darker side of it.
Right. So for my experience as a 12-year-old who actually didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, I did post selfies and whatnot. But now looking back at it, I'm like, oh no, is that on the internet? Is it still surviving on the internet? My selfies are everywhere.
Yeah, and your information is too.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the cons of it, because you don't know as a child what you want to do, and you never know.
And you have to be more of a knowledgeable user and to make sure you're not getting yourself into a mess. So you did mention your pictures being on social media and still being on the internet, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm actually working on application with my fiance and a couple other entrepreneurs, and we are going through the hassle of figuring out what can be stored in a social media account. Well, when you create a social media account, you're checking accept to the terms, and most of us don't read the terms, but those terms may involve the social media tackling your data and keeping it and storing it, and possibly a hacker being able to get their hands on it. Any server, it puts our data on the line. And I don't think people care.
They don't.
Because I just feel like I found out about that, but I'm still posting and I'm still sharing.
No one cares.
I think what people start caring once their credit card is on the line, or their, it just, I actually got a notification from Capital One, a card I use, but I got a notification, and it told me that my data is in the, what is it called? The dark space of the internet, or it's being sold somewhere, whatever.
Okay.
And they gave me a link to go check, to put my email in and to see if any of my accounts are being, have been hacked into. And I looked, and Dubsmash was one and FitnessPal was one. And I was so interested, I didn't share a lot of information there, but I'm sure there was a lot of people that did. Mm-hmm. And that begins to stray into the topic of how good is the security of the things we're using?
Not that good. Why do they say, put tape over your Mac camera or your Windows camera? That's just one
I don't
level.
have tape on my Mac.
I mean, you should. They can spy on us.
I see it all the time. And Facebook, we do sign the accept all terms, and it does have an AI brain, and it does get into our business, and it does store a lot of data that's personal. But again, it doesn't seem like we care.
Yeah, we don't care. Have you ever thought about something or said something out loud? Like, for example, beach chairs. All of a sudden you got an ad. Online.
Oh yeah, that honestly
that
though,
freaky?
but I have to say that's a good lifesaver. I could say that I've come across things that I've been looking for, I've been talking about, I've been mentioning, and I'm just like, wow, this is awesome.
It's ironic actually. I thought that happens more when you speak about something. But the other day I was actually thinking about something.
You were thinking about it?
Thinking about it. And it came up, and I'm all
theory.
I'm like, bro, I don't have the freedom to think? But anyways, that's about it for the mumbo jumbo of today.
And stay tuned for next podcast and the next Talktile topic. Follow us on social media at Talktiles and give us your opinions, things you'd like to talk about.
Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys had a good time. That's Stassi
and Louisa signing out.